From the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the News 8 Daily 8.
Now, the latest news.
Kylie Conway has the latest news. The top headlines. News you can use.
Please stand by.
Sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling. Now, here's Wish TV's Kylie Conway.
Hi, this is Kylie Conway, and this is the News 8 Daily 8 for Friday, July 9th. Much better day today. Less humid, not as hot. It's dry. Highs are going to be in the high 70s to low 80s. Pretty perfect. Oh, but buckle up for the weekend. There are some possible showers late tonight and then storms in the overnight and all throughout Saturday morning. All day Saturday, rain and storms off and on. Same thing on Sunday. The good news is temperatures Saturday and Sunday aren't going to be too bad with highs in the upper 70s, low 80s. And this morning, we learned some new grim details about the latest scene of violence coming out of Indianapolis. Police confirmed this morning that somebody shot and poured gasoline on a person, then set them on fire. It happened around 5 this morning near 12th and Medford in a neighborhood just west of downtown. Police first said that the victim was in good condition, and then they've now updated that to say that the woman was in critical condition. IMPD said that, yes, the victim was a woman and that somebody had made a very personal crime out of this. We haven't been told who might have done this, what the possible connection to the victim was, but we do know that IMPD is asking anyone who might have heard or seen anything to call 317-262-TIPS or call the IMPD Aggravated Assault Unit. There was a lot more violence also from overnight. 2 other people died from shootings in Indianapolis. We learned that a man who had been wounded yesterday evening didn't survive. Somebody shot him last night at 8 o'clock near 11th and Elder. It's just northwest of downtown. At about that same time, farther to the northwest, police found a man fatally shot in a vehicle that was at an apartment complex near 34th and Georgetown. Another man was wounded a few blocks away. Officers say those 2 victims are connected. They're still working to figure out whether they're linked to the Elder Street case, too. And this morning, more people are showing frustration over all of this violence in our city. As our crew was out covering the shootings, several people approached to say they're tired of all of it. Police tell us they're also growing weary.
The people in the community are tired. They're tired of folks picking up a firearm to hurt somebody. They're tired of people not understanding how to deal with conflict resolution. Our officers are tired of it.
Investigators urge anyone with information about any of the shootings to come forward. And tributes are pouring in this morning for Terre Haute Police Detective Greg Ferenczi. Driving through the city, you'll see billboards and signs honoring the fallen officer. We're also learning chilling new details about the suspect who's facing federal premeditated murder charges. News 8's Sierra Hignite went through court documents and explains how investigators believe the ambush killing happened.
Investigators say that 44-year-old Shane Meehan pulled up to the federal building in Terre Haute in his gold F-150, got out of the truck, and threw a Molotov cocktail towards the building. Inside that building is the FBI resident agency where Detective Greg Ferenczi was working while on an FBI task force. Prosecutors say Ferenczi walked out of the building after the explosive was thrown. He was met by Meehan, who was waiting with a gun in his hand. Investigators say Meehan then shot Ferenczi. The detective was able to fire back before succumbing to his injuries. After the initial shot, another FBI agent came out of the building and started firing at Meehan. Investigators say the 2 engaged in a gun battle. The suspect was hit twice. It's not clear which shots hit him. Meehan got back in his truck, drove himself to Regional Hospital about 4 miles away, where he underwent surgery for his injuries and was taken into custody. In a statement, Acting U.S. Attorney John Childress said, "An attack on law enforcement is an attack on us all. The selfless dedication exhibited by Detective Ferenczi throughout his career and his tragic death yesterday is yet another example of why we all owe our respect and gratitude to the members of law enforcement." Police got a warrant to search Meehan's vehicle, where they recovered a firearm as well as 3 Molotov cocktails and additional ammunition. Detective Ferenczi was a father, a husband, and someone committed to serving his community to the best of his ability. Those who worked with him say they will miss him and his tenacity.
There's not anything that he did that he didn't put 110% into. He was an amazing person, and I just can't say that enough.
I'm Sierra Hignite for Wish TV, wishtv.com, and follow us on Facebook.
And a man in Georgia is under arrest in the triple murder that left a Purdue grad golf pro dead. Brian Roden faces 3 counts of murder, 3 counts of aggravated assault, and 2 counts of kidnapping. Police say they arrested him about 25 miles from the Pine Tree Country Club in Kennesaw. That's where Gene Siller and 2 other men were found shot to death at one of the greens on the course. Investigators say it appears Siller was not initially a target and only became one because he actually saw a crime happening. Today, people getting unemployment benefits in Indiana could get answers about $300 extra weekly payments. The State Court of Appeals is giving Marion County courts until today to complete paperwork for a lawsuit over federal unemployment benefits. In June, a Marion County judge ruled that the state violated the law when it decided to opt out of those benefits. The State Court of Appeals agreed to speed up its review of the ruling. Governor Holcomb says getting rid of the payments will get more people back to work. Workers who sued over the ending of benefits says it does the opposite and actually deters job seekers. A Central Indiana woman is sharing her story with NewsAid after being told she had to repay pandemic unemployment benefits. Lisa Sales describes the feeling of finding out.
I was shocked. My stomach did drop. It scared me because I thought this can't be right.
She sent an appeal twice, once by fax, once by certified mail. As News 8's Dan Klein reports, the Department of Workforce Development is not talking.
Lisa Sales tells me she sent in her paperwork proving her previous employment months before the deadline. Then she actually went down to the unemployment office to make sure they got it. Still, she's now being told she owes the state almost $10,000 of unemployment, basically everything she received since the start of the year. Lisa had been working as an independent contractor with the federal Social Security Administration until all her work stopped back in March of last year. After the initial denial, she then appealed the decision twice. Now she has to wait to go before a judge, something that can take anywhere from 8 to 14 weeks. And while she knows she's right, the uncertainty is very difficult.
Because I have plans. I want to do things. I want to, make plans. And I need to know if I need to pay back $10,000 that I shouldn't have to pay back. So it's frustrating.
Lisa reached out to us after she saw our story with Lynn Moreau on Tuesday. And she was not alone. At least 2 more people also contacted us after our story aired. Yesterday, our I-Team's Richard Essex went to the Department of Workforce Development demanding answers, but all he could get was a runaround and locked doors. We reached out again to the Department of Workforce Development Thursday, but received no response at all. Of course, we'll keep trying. Reporting in the newsroom, Dan Klein, Wish TV, wishtv.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook.
State Democratic leaders and union members are trying to add momentum to President Biden's American Jobs Plan. The groups hosted a meeting last night to gain support. Supporters say the bill aims to create jobs, strengthen unions, and update the state's infrastructure system. John Hooker of the Labor Caucus for the state's Democratic Party says Indiana's infrastructure shouldn't be worn down.
It can't happen. We're better than that. We can do better than that. As construction people, we can build better than that if we have the money and the investment to do so.
The Senate is expected to take up the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package later this month. And today, state health officials plan to share new information on the COVID-19 health crisis. State Health Commissioner Dr. Chris Box and Chief Medical Officer Dr. Lindsay Weaver are set to speak at 11 o'clock this morning. You can stream the remarks live on wishtv.com. You can also, if you're listening to this through your phone, this podcast, you can pull this up through the Wish TV News app. Download it. It's free if you haven't already. You can also stream it on Facebook Live. And health officials are warning that the Delta variant is overwhelming certain areas of the country. On a national level, the strain's making up more than 51% of all new infections. The CDC says in parts of the Midwest and Western U.S., that number is closer to 80%. According to the Indiana Health Department, there have been 233 confirmed cases of the variant. While virus deaths are down 13% this week, the CDC director says she's losing sleep because people are still dying of COVID-19. Dr. Rochelle Walensky tweeted, preliminary data from some U.S. states suggest 99.5% of COVID-19 deaths were in unvaccinated people. Unnecessary death, unneeded suffering from being unvaccinated. Those deaths, that pain, are preventable. She also explained what happens when people choose to skip out on their shots.
Simply put, in areas of low vaccination coverage, cases and hospitalizations are up.
At last check, nearly 48% of Americans are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. And And the Delta variant of the coronavirus is raising some big questions this morning, including whether people who are fully vaccinated need a booster shot. Karen Kafa explains why health officials say people need to wait.
The CDC and FDA say Americans fully vaccinated against COVID-19 don't need a booster yet. The statement just hours after Pfizer said its vaccine is seeing waning immunity and they'll seek emergency FDA authorization for a booster dose next month. But doctors say don't panic if you're vaccinated.
The answer is that our vaccines still are very, very effective in keeping us out of the hospital, in averting severe disease. That's what they were designed to do.
This, as the highly contagious Delta variant accounts for more than half of new U.S. COVID cases in the last 2 weeks, the CDC estimates.
It is currently surging in pockets of the country with low vaccination rates.
24 states have seen new cases increase by 10% or more in the last week, per Johns Hopkins University data. States with rates of full vaccination below the national average of 47.7%, like Arkansas, particularly vulnerable.
Over the past month, we have seen a significant increase in the number of COVID cases, active cases, and hospitalizations.
And in states with higher rates like California, which tops 60%, the unvaccinated fueling recent upward trends.
Every patient that I've had to hospitalize due to COVID-19 has been unvaccinated.
Experts fear more infections could mean more mutations of the virus and more deadly variants to come. In Washington, I'm Karen Kafa.
IMPD is thanking people who helped them solve a downtown robbery. Police say Raul Rueda claimed that someone robbed him early Wednesday morning on Meridian Street, but witnesses told detectives that Rueda was the robber, not the victim. Police say they found a knife that they believe he used. Rueda is now facing a robbery charge. And a state lawmaker says he will push harder for new security rules at convenience stores, spurred on by the murder arrest of a worker. Investigators say Vincent Bibbs shot a shoplifter to death last month at the Speedway gas station at 56th and Emerson Way. Police say a surveillance video showed Damon McLean putting cases of Red Bull in a trash bag and walking to the parking lot, where Bibbs followed him and eventually shot him. State Representative Ed Delaney says he believes Bibbs was doing what he thought was right, but Delaney says convenience stores that cannot protect their workers shouldn't be allowed to stay open late.
Where there's typically one employee, sometimes inadequate lighting, often no plexiglass booth for the person to be in, classically late hours, low pay, you got it all together. And then as an ultimate reward, the worker gets the chance to be shot and get very low workers' compensation.
Delaney has called for new convenience store rules in the past, and so far those calls have not led to changes. And Elsa takes aim overnight. 2 city workers in Petersburg, Virginia, had to be rescued after they were trapped in a flash flood. It'll be a soggy and dangerous commute all along the East Coast. Tropical storm Elsa is slamming that region. The big worry this morning is flash flooding. The water was seen pouring into subway system in New York, forcing riders to wade through the water to get to the platforms. And today, really, it's about assessing the damage and cleaning up in North Carolina. Wind from the storm toppled trees and brought down power lines. And rescue workers are sharing their unwavering commitment to the families of the victims in the Florida condo collapse. A fire official in Surfside says crews will not stop working until they recover the body of every victim. As we've talked about, officials believe there is no chance there are any survivors beneath the rubble. Indiana Task Force 1 continues to offer their assistance at the work site. It's been posting pictures, very, very active on social media, just saying they are focused on bringing every loved one home to their family. So far, 64 bodies have been recovered and 76 more people are presumed dead. A coroner's report lists 3 causes of death for a woman who died after a ride at Holiday World. The report says Dawn Jankovic died of severe internal blood loss, the tearing of an artery, and force from the roller coaster. She was 47 years old. She was found unconscious last month as the Voyage roller coaster returned to the station. Jankovic died at a nearby hospital. President Biden is moving up his deadline for the withdrawal of U.S. troops from Afghanistan. He says the U.S. will be completely out by August 31st, earlier than his original goal of September 11th. In his speech last night, Biden acknowledged that the Taliban is still very strong in the country and that the Afghan government may not be able to hold the country without American military support. Biden says he believes America cannot redirect the course of Afghanistan.
I will not send another generation of Americans to war in Afghanistan with no reasonable expectation of achieving a different outcome.
The president says the next step is to help evacuate people who've worked alongside American troops and are now targets of the Taliban because of it. It's not yet clear how many people could be pulled out. 17 suspects have been detained in the assassination of Haiti's president. Authorities say 2 are believed to be Haitian Americans. Haiti's security forces say they're looking for at least 8 others. Police say at least 28 people were allegedly involved in the killing of President Jovenel Moïse Wednesday. Colombia's defense ministry says at least 6 of those were retired members of the Colombian army. And now to business headlines. CNBC reports Wells Fargo is shutting down all existing personal lines of credit and is not offering the consumer lending product anymore. The product, which usually gives users $3,000 to $100,000 in revolving credit lines, was pitched as a way to consolidate higher interest credit card debt, pay for home renovations, or avoid overdraft fees on linked checking accounts. Customers have been given a 60-day notice that their accounts will be shuttered. Microsoft is giving employees a $1,500 pandemic bonus. The Verge reports the software giant says this one-time bonus is in recognition of the unique and challenging fiscal year that Microsoft just completed. The European Commission has fined Volkswagen and BMW $1 billion for colluding with Daimler to hold back the development of technology that could have reduced harmful emissions from their vehicles. The Commission said the German car makers breached EU antitrust rules by agreeing to avoid competing on technical development in the area of nitrogen oxide cleaning. General Motors is recalling more than 331,000 diesel pickup trucks in the United States for a second time because the engine block heater cords can short circuit and cause fires. The recall covers certain 2017 through 2019 Chevrolet Silverado and GMC Sierra 2500 and 3500 pickups. One chain is taking to a new social media program to help fill positions. A restaurant chain, that is. Chipotle announced that it will be utilizing the TikTok resume platform to find new employees. TikTok recently announced the launching of its new career-oriented platform that allows employers to accept video resumes from hopeful employees. And now to some things around town. Indy PopCon kicks off downtown today. It's a 3-day celebration of all things pop culture at the Indiana Convention Center. This year's lineup includes panels, movie screenings, and some photo opportunities with celebrities. Today, tickets are $25. Then tomorrow, that price jumps to $35 for both Saturday and Sunday. All 3-day pass will cost $70, so save you some money if you want to go for the whole 3-day weekend. Sign-ups are open for 2 free youth basketball clinics in Indianapolis. Marion County Prosecutor Ryan Mears is hosting the events to teach the fundamentals of basketball. The first clinic is July 20th for children 10 to 12 years old. The second is for 13 to 15-year-olds. Both will be at the Him by Her Collegiate School of Arts on East 32nd Street from 9 in the morning until noon. 2 longtime Wish TV broadcasters are headed to the Indiana Broadcast Pioneers Richard M. Fairbanks Hall of Fame. Congratulations to Steve Schweitzer and Dick Woolsey. Both men spent decades working at Wish TV, bringing wonderful stories to our viewers. Schweitzer is a chief photographer and a reporter-producer for Pet Pals TV and Great Day TV. Woolsey served as a Daybreak reporter from 1990 until last year. Both will be inducted during the annual Indiana Broadcasters Conference on October 27th. And if you'd like to take a trip to southern Indiana, you can learn more about the history of Indiana Jones. An archaeologist is examining the movie Raiders of the Lost Ark. Dr. David West Reynolds will be at the Floyd County Library next Saturday at 1:30 in the afternoon to share his findings. You do need to register for that event. And finally,
Murraya. Murraya.
That is correct.
The Scripps National Spelling Bee has its new champion. Zayla Avantgarde from Louisiana is 14 years old, and her victory is the first ever in the event for an African-American student. She says she practiced for 7 hours a day and still calls the spelling a side hobby. Her true passion is basketball. She has WNBA ambitions and already has 3 Guinness World Records for dribbling multiple basketballs simultaneously. Congratulations to her. That is a lot of determination. Very cool. This has been your News 8 Daily 8 for Wish TV. I'm Kylie Conway. Online at wishtv.com and follow us on Facebook when you search Wish TV. Have a great weekend, everybody.
The News 8 Daily 8 is sponsored by LCS Heating and Cooling.
Be sure to like and subscribe to this podcast.
The News 8 Daily 8 with Kylie Conway. And be sure to discover even more great podcasts now at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.